Yes, sir. Okay. By the way, we'll be doing the question session once again from other chapters. Okay, now, and that will be continuing. That will continue till your exams. Okay. Okay. I will be back in a minute, and then we are going to continue from here. Okay. So far in the class, as we were doing the chapter respiration in living organism, there we had learned about what is respiration, and we were also learning about the types of respiration. What are the two types of respiration we have studied about?
Cellular respiration and anaerobic respiration and
Anaerobic and aerobic. Yeah. Getting it? No? Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Okay. How are they different from each other? How is aerobic respiration different from anaerobic respiration? Okay, no worry. Don't worry. We will be learning about the differences between the two today. Okay, now. First of all, talking about the aerobic respiration, what did we learn about the aerobic respiration? What happens in aerobic respiration? Yeah, we learned that the glucose is broken down with the help of oxygen to produce water and carbon dioxide, and energy is also released in the process, right? That is what we have learned. Okay. Also, we have learned that this process of aerobic respiration occurs in complex organisms. Like we humans, we are complex organisms. Doesn't turn your camera on in the class, by the way. So we humans and most of the multicellular organisms that we see around us, they are having a complex body. So complex organisms will be carrying out this aerobic respiration. Amount of energy released in this process is high or less?
high.
It is high. Okay, no? That is one thing which we have learned in the previous class. Where does this happen? It happens inside the cell. And where exactly? Where does respiration occur? Where does it occur? Yes? Like where does respiration occur? That's what I'm asking. It occurs in the cell, and inside the cell it occurs in the mitochondria, na, Razan? Okay, no? So it occurs inside the mitochondria of the cell. Got this now? And why do we feel hungry after workout?
Because when we exercise, our breathing rate will be faster, and our energy level will increase. No, our hunger level will increase and
Okay, take your time and try to explain it in your own words. No need to panic in this. Okay, no? Be relaxed and answer it.
exercise, sensing our breathing rate will be high, and we take up more oxygen, and our hunger level will increase.
Actually, the reason why our hunger level will be increasing now, our hunger is going to increase because when our breathing rate increases, we take up more oxygen. Okay, now as a result of when we are taking more oxygen, so the process of breaking down of the food will increase, meaning that the rate of respiration increases. Okay, now so there is more supply of oxygen to the body, thereby food will be broken down in a short duration of time. So now your stomach will be empty because all the food have been broken down by oxygen. That's why you will be feeling hungry. And then in the case of anaerobic respiration, what we learned, that also occurs inside the cell. Okay, na? And the main thing is that it occurs in absence of oxygen right now, or in limited supply of oxygen. Okay, so thereby the
It
food.
occurs only,
Mhm.
it occurs only if oxygen is
If oxygen is extremely low, or if your oxygen is not available. Okay, Razan, then it occurs. And there the food here, or basically glucose, is broken down into alcohol, carbon dioxide plus energy, and the amount of energy released here was low.
low.
Good. And talking about the organisms that will do this type of respiration, they are called as anaerobes. Okay, now they are called as anaerobes, and the examples were yeast, bacteria, and in fact, in some situation, this anaerobic respiration will be occurring in the muscle cells of humans also, but that doesn't mean that humans becomes anaerobic organisms. Okay, now because primarily the main mode of respiration in human body is aerobic respiration. We need oxygen. Food is broken down with the help of oxygen, but there's a situation where the food will be broken down in absence or limited supply of oxygen. So we'll be learning about that. Okay, now when we'll be learning about disadvantages of anaerobic respiration. Okay, first of all, talking about the application of anaerobic respiration. So what did we learned in the previous class, that we have some of the organism like yeast, right? Now, in market you might purchase yeast powder. Yeast powder is used to prepare bread and cakes, etc. Okay, it is used in the baking industry. So what happens when I have taken some flour, we add water and sugar in it. Okay, and then we add yeast powder in it. What we observe, the dough rises. Why does the dough rises? Because anaerobic respiration, basically respiration takes place here. And what do we know what happens in the process of respiration? Carbon dioxide gas is formed here, no? Getting it? So when yeast powder is added here, so yeast will be converting the glucose present in the flour into alcohol, plus it will be forming carbon dioxide gas. And these bubbles are of carbon dioxide gas. Getting it now? These are the carbon dioxide gas. Also, it will be getting energy also. Plus, its number will also be multiplying. Since it is getting the food now, it gets a favorable condition, so thereby its number starts to multiply. That is one thing. Okay, na? Okay. So this process, or basically the anaerobic respiration carried out by the yeast, it will be called as fermentation, where the glucose will be broken down to form alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. Got this? So this is basically fermentation, which we have learned in the previous class. Though the dough rises because of anaerobic respiration done by the yeast, that is also called as fermentation. Furthermore, yeast powder is not only used in the baking industry, but it is used in the alcohol industry also. Okay, now, so there, for example, if you were to learn about how alcohol is formed, so thereby we will take some fruits that will contain glucose in them. Okay, now we can take apples, we can take grapes, etc. Different kind of fruits can be taken. We will be adding yeast powder in it, and yeast will be doing anaerobic respiration. Like in these chambers, there's these metal cylinders that you see over here. In this, anaerobic respiration is being carried out by the yeast powder. This is the yeast, by the way. If you want to look at, this is the yeast. Okay, now this is the microscopic organism that carries out anaerobic respiration. So it will be converting the glucose into ethanol. Basically, ethanol is here alcohol plus carbon dioxide. So this is how alcohol is prepared from glucose. The source of glucose, basically we take some fruits here, because fruits contains glucose in them, na, Rozan? Okay, no? So that is how anaerobic respiration will be done. Okay, no? So have you understood how alcoholic fermentation occurs by the help of yeast powder? Huh?
Explain again.
Yeah, sure. It's a process. It's a kind of a biological process that will occur when microorganisms like yeast will be breaking down the sugars or glucose to produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. So say that we have taken different kind of fruits here. We have taken different kind of fruits. Uh, Different kind of fruits, like we can take any kind of fruit that will contain sugar in it, that will contain glucose in it. We can take apples, plus we can take grapes, etc. We take these fruits. Yeah, oranges, that can also be taken. Okay, no? Okay, because Suleiman is here. Usually the fruits that are taken for alcoholic fermentation are grapes, apples. Okay, apart from these, like grapes are the most common fruit that is used for this alcoholic fermentation. Okay, now, although there are some other examples, even pineapple can be taken. Okay, now pineapple can be taken. In fact, some other citrus fruits can be also taken here. Yes, Suleiman, how are you? Assalamu alaikum. Now these fruits contains, yeah, they contain sugar in it. Sugar and glucose is found in these fruits. When we add yeast powder in it, so yeast powder will be doing anaerobic respiration, and thereby it will be converting the sugar or glucose into alcohol, which is the main product here. Plus carbon dioxide gas is also released. So this is the concept of alcoholic fermentation. Getting it? Suleiman and Razan, you guys getting it? Your voice is not coming, Suleiman, in the class. And Razan, you also speak a little bit louder.
Yes, sir.
So that is the case of alcoholic fermentation, where it's a biological process when microorganisms like yeast will be breaking down the alcohols and breaking down the sugar or glucose into alcohol, and also releases carbon dioxide. Okay, now, and furthermore, this is an anaerobic process. What is it? This is a anaerobic respiration. Yeah. So here, this is an application of anaerobic respiration. We are utilizing the anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic application has some utilization as well. Got this now. This is one of the utilization. Okay. You guys answer this question. Production of alcohol by yeast fermentation is it anaerobic, aerobic, light dependent? What is it?
Anaerobic.
What about you, Suleiman?
Good morning, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes, Suleiman, what's the answer for this? Production of alcohol by yeast. Production of alcohol by yeast fermentation is it aerobic, anaerobic? What is it?
Sir, I can't see the screen.
Rizan, is it visible to you?
Yes.
Okay. Suleiman, it should be visible to you as well, I think. Yes, Suleiman.
Sir, can you screen share again or?
Just 1 minute. Yeah, now is it visible
sir,
to you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what's the answer for this question? It's anaerobic now. In the absence of oxygen, this process is occurring. Okay, now? Okay. Talking about the disadvantages and advantages. Okay, I'm talking about, first of all, talking about the advantage of anaerobic respiration. Advantage of anaerobic respiration is that, for example, when an athlete will be exercising too hard now, so there isn't enough oxygen that is being delivered to the muscles. Okay, so thereby the type of respiration that will be occurring in the muscle cells of the athlete at that time will be anaerobic respiration. Why? For aerobic respiration, sufficient amount of oxygen is required. But if the muscle cells, while exercising, usually the flow of oxygen to different cells in the body is not proper. Getting it, Razan and Suleiman? So if the cells are not getting adequate amount of oxygen, so thereby it will be forced to do anaerobic respiration. Okay, now what we have learned about anaerobic respiration, that it occurs in absence or limited supply of oxygen. So the muscles in the cells of the muscles will be forced to do anaerobic respiration. Okay. So how is it advantageous? How is it advantageous? How is it beneficial? So the thing here is now, when anaerobic respiration takes place, it's a fast process. It's a fast process. So thereby we get instant energy. We'll be getting energy more faster. So we can say that so we can say that it's a fast process. So we get energy faster via the process of anaerobic respiration. So athlete has to, let's say athlete has participated in some competition, so he requires maximum energy to increase his excellence, increase his performance. So although the muscle cells are not getting adequate amount of oxygen, so it will be doing anaerobic respiration, and anaerobic respiration is a fast process. While aerobic respiration, it's a slow process, while this one is fast process. Yes, Razan, you saying something?
No, sir.
So we get energy faster here. Okay, now. Furthermore, what happens? This is having some disadvantage also. Okay, now this is having some disadvantage also. The thing is that, like in the muscle cells, in the cells of the muscles here, what is happening? The glucose is getting broken down into lactic acid. Plus, energy is also formed here. ATP is, by the way, the energy currency of the cells. This is the energy currency of the cell in which the energy is stored. So energy produced in the cell is stored in the form of ATP. Okay, and it's kind of a energy currency. So, but the main thing here is that glucose is being converted into lactic acid. Okay, now. So anaerobic respiration, whenever it takes place in the human beings, so thereby what will happen? The glucose will be converted into lactic acid, and the buildup of the lactic acid will cause cramps. Okay, now, so thereby when this athlete will be doing some intense workout, or let's say when we do some intense workout, or this athlete is running in a marathon, let us say, so he will develop muscular cramps. Okay, now he'll be he'll be suffering from muscular cramps, which will be very painful. Getting it now? So it has some advantage, while it has some disadvantage also. The advantage is that it is a faster process. Anaerobic respiration has the advantage of being faster than anaerobic respiration and not requiring oxygen for energy conversion. So it is faster than aerobic respiration, plus it does not require oxygen for producing energy. So in muscles, when the oxygen supply is insufficient, so thereby the glucose will be converted into lactic acid in order to provide us energy. That is one thing. But the disadvantage is that it leads to muscular cramp. Getting it, both of you? Hope this
Yes,
should be
sir.
clear. Okay, now I will be providing the PPT of this chapter to you guys, Razan and Sulaiman. So don't worry about missing on the notes. Okay. Now let us quickly conclude the differences between the two, how they are different from each other. So the thing here is that in the case of aerobic respiration, what we have done? Yeah. Aerobic respiration occurs in the presence of, yes,
No oxygen.
aerobic respiration. I'm talking about aerobic, not anaerobic.
And there are more.
Let us answer in the systematic manner. Okay, starting from the very basic thing. Okay. So the first difference between the two was that aerobic respiration, it requires oxygen. That is one of the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So it occurs in presence of oxygen. Getting it now? So occurs in presence of oxygen, while it can occur in limited / absence of oxygen. By the way, Suleiman will be doing some questions from you for your test as well. Okay, na? Today we'll be doing some questions from the physical and chemical change and the chapter forest in our lifeline. Okay. So make sure that you stay in the class. Okay. All right now. So this is one of the difference between the two. Furthermore, talking about the energy production, in which high energy is produced, Razan and Suleiman? Aerobic respiration produces more energy. Okay. If you can recall, we did learn about this, that aerobic respiration, more energy was being produced there now, right?
Yes.
But in the anaerobic respiration, we did learn that low energy is produced. So more energy is produced in this case, while here low energy is being produced. Okay, that is one difference. Okay, talking about the product that is formed. So in the case of aerobic respiration, the products that were formed were as follows. It was mainly carbon dioxide along with water, isn't it, Suleiman? Right?
Yes.
That was the product. While in the case of anaerobic respiration, what did we learn? That in the case of humans, or in the case of the animals, or like mammals, basically. In the mammals, what happens? The product that is formed is lactic acid. Right now? Getting it now? While some of the products were, like in the case of yeast powder, what does the yeast do? Yeast converts the glucose into alcohol, no? Alcohol plus carbon dioxide. Getting it, both of you? That is one thing. Okay, na? So these are some of the differences between the two. Okay. Hope this should be clear. I'm switching to the next thing. We have some questions here. Then we'll be doing doing the next topic. Okay. Okay. What is respiration? Yeah. How do we define respiration? Okay, Suleiman, you do one thing. You do some questions on the chapter physical and chemical change. I'm going to provide some questions to you. Make sure you answer them in the chat box. All right now?
Okay.
Okay. That will be better. So I'm writing down some questions for you in the chat box. From there, you can answer it. Okay. Yeah, Rizan, go on to answer these questions. Suleiman, did you receive the message? Not yet.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Got it.
There are several more questions which I'm going to share to you. Okay, now. Just 1 minute. So tell me the difference between physical and chemical change, and what is a physical change? Okay.
Sir, in the chat box.
You can write in a sheet of page and then upload it there or send it to the team. Just
Sir,
upload it there.
Sir, it does not upload. And
It does not upload there.
yes.
Okay, just share it to the team. I will get it from them. Okay. Yeah, Rizan, where did you
Oh,
went?
sir, I can. Sir,
Yeah.
I'll type in chat box.
Okay, but that will take some time, na? Simply just write on a sheet of paper. That will be quick. Yeah, Rizan,
Okay.
what is respiration?
It is the process of breakdown of the food to release energy and some other products.
Okay. Basically, it's the process of breakdown of the food. Okay. Furthermore, you can elaborate it by saying that it is of two types. One is aerobic, another one is anaerobic respiration. Okay, na? And then go on to explain those. Okay. Answer different question number 4. List out the different types of anaerobic respiration. Remember, we had learned about 2 cases of anaerobic respiration. One was in the, try to recall question number 4. Question here is that
Is it
list
like
out
in the
the,
cell?
yeah. Mhm.
Is it like in the cells like that?
No, list out the different types of anaerobic respiration. We had learned about 2 type of anaerobic respiration. One was in the case of the yeast now, where the glucose was converted into,
I
yes,
forgot.
you forgot. Okay, let me help you on this. There the glucose was converted into alcohol plus carbon dioxide, right now? Alcohol plus carbon dioxide. Good. Another one was the example of, try to recall this. I think I know you can recall this. Take your time and try to recall this. Rizan, remember the example of the athlete?
What's it?
Athlete. In the muscle cells now. In the muscle cells of we humans, or most of the mammals. Okay, now? So thereby, another one example was of the muscle cells. Okay, now muscle cells of the mammals.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I shared you the answer. Am I supposed to share you on the other ID?
No, I can see it from here. You have shared.
Okay.
Very good. A physical change, no new substances form. A chemical change is always accompanied by one or more substance. Accompanied by formation of one or more substance. Okay, na?
Okay.
Okay. You had to write the difference. Write down few more differences between the two. Okay, na? Yeah. Talking about the muscles, is there glucose is converted into? Yes, Rizan. There the glucose is converted into an acid now. Try to recall the name of the acid. That was?
Um,
Hmm.
oh,
That is?
1 minute.
Mhm.
Uh, lactic acid.
Lactic acid. Well done. So that was lactic acid. Okay, now along with this, some energy will also be released. And here also some energy was released. So this is the two type of anaerobic respiration we have learned in the class. Okay, now? Okay, which one of them is used for alcohol production?
Yeast.
Yeast one, no? Very good. Okay, physical change is reversible, chemical changes are not reversible. Good, Suleiman. Write down few more differences. Now, question number 6. Answer this one also. Razan, where does aerobic and anaerobic respiration occur in the cell? Hmm. Inside the cell, where will anaerobic and aerobic respiration will occur?
I know the answer, but I forgot the name. It starts with M.
Does it start with? Yeah, of course it starts with them. I have given you a hint here. See, if I were now to talk about the aerobic respiration, it mainly occurs in the mitochondria. Okay, now it mainly occurs in the mitochondria. Getting it now? But if you were to talk about the anaerobic respiration, when we talk about the anaerobic respiration, so anaerobic respiration actually occurs, usually anaerobic respiration, that will be occurring in the jelly-like fluid present in the cell called as cytoplasm. We have a cell, we have a nucleus. This is the nucleus of the cell. This is the cell membrane. And in between nucleus and the cell membrane, a jelly-like fluid is filled that we know as cytoplasm. Okay, na? So
Sir, I can't think of any more differences.
there are actually many more differences, Suleiman. Think of some more differences. Like if you were to, what
Yes.
have you written? You have written one is reversible, another one is irreversible. Okay,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Yes, sir.
There are some other differences between physical and chemical change. Like in the chemical change, a new product with different chemical property is formed. While in the physical change, the chemical property or the chemical composition remains same now, isn't it? Like water, whether it is in solid state, liquid state, or the gaseous state, it still is water. It has the same chemical composition. Water does not changes into some other thing. But take the example of a chemical change. Rizan, you also listen to this. Like you take the example of a chemical change, like burning of a paper. So paper turns into ash. Paper has a different chemical composition. Ash has a different chemical composition. Both of them are completely different from each other. That is one such difference now. Got this? Okay. That was
Yes.
one of the difference. Okay. Also, what we get to see in the case of the physical change. In the case of physical change, usually it is irreversible, as you have said, and basically, just by doing some normal changes, we can get back the original product in its original shape and size. Okay, now. So no new substances formed in the physical change, only the physical state will be changing. It is reversible. We have the example of melting of the ice, boiling of water, cutting of the paper, or breaking down a piece of rock. In the chemical change, new substances are formed along with a new property. Its chemical property is different. Also, it is irreversible. Plus, it is accompanied by several changes. Like there could be change in color, formation of bubbles could be there. There could be release of heat. Okay, no. So these are the key differences between the two. Okay. I have given you, I think, one more question. You have to tell me the nature of magnesium oxide solution. Okay.
Yes, sir.
While let's continue, Rizan, talking about respiration in plants. Okay, now, so animals are not the only organism that require energy. In fact, the plants also require energy now, right? So plants will also be doing plants will also carry out respiration. They will also do respiration. Okay. So there, as we know that plants would be taking in for the purpose of respiration, oxygen is required now, right? So plants take in oxygen via the stomatal pores. They will be taking the oxygen from the air. So they will take up oxygen from the air. Okay. And in the process of respiration, this is what happens. Like as we know, in the process of respiration, basically breakdown of food will take place. Right. So in the plants also, whatever food they have prepared, Sulman,
Sir,
yeah, that is basic in nature. Very good. Here, Rozan.
can you show the slide before this?
This one.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. See, there are tiny pores present on the leaves, tiny pores present on the leaves called as stomata. Okay, now. So via the stomata, plants will be taking in oxygen, and in the process of respiration, they will release the carbon dioxide. But first of all, we need to know that Where does the food come in the body of the plant? How do the plant prepare the food? By the process of
Photosynthesis.
photosynthesis, obviously. So in the process of photosynthesis, they have prepared their food. Not that food needs to be broken down. As we know, that's some of the food is stored in the seed, in the root, in the leaves, and in the fruits, and in fact, in some cases, in the flowers also. But plant also needs to get some energy to carry out the different processes. Okay, now so the food that they have prepared in the process of photosynthesis that needs to be broken down with the presence of oxygen, with the help of oxygen. So as the result of this, food will be broken down and carbon dioxide will be released, plus water will also be formed along with the energy production. Okay, now along with the energy production. Now this carbon dioxide that is being produced here, plants, it can either release it back into the air, or the same carbon dioxide gas can be used by the plant to carry out photosynthesis. Because for photosynthesis, carbon dioxide gas is required now, isn't it?
Yes.
And in the diagram, you can note down that respiration, it's a process that will occur in the root system of the plants also. So roots will also be carrying out this thing. So roots also have tiny pores on their surface, so they will be taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. Got this now? Further, you can look at the structure. Take a look at the close-up diagram of this stomata here. This is a microscopic image of a leaf here, and you can see this structure over here. It is called as stomata, and at the center it has an opening. It has an opening like this. This is the opening. It is also called as stomatal pore. It is also called stomatal pore, via which the plants will be taking, or via which the gaseous exchange will take place. Okay, now. Furthermore, there are like here you can see this stem. Okay, now. So respiration will not occur only in the leaves or in the roots; it will occur in the stems also. So some stems of some plants have tiny openings on them. These are the tiny pores present on the surfaces of the stems, and they are called as lenticels. What is their function? They allow the plants to take in oxygen. Okay, and carbon dioxide will be released by this. So they also help in carrying out respiration. Got this now?
Yes.
That is one thing. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, let me give you a few more questions. Okay, now. I'm giving you some questions here, Suleiman. Just 1 minute. Let me just provide some more questions to you. Yeah. You have to classify the following process into physical or chemical changes. Okay, now. 4 changes are given there, and classify them. Which one of them is physical? Which one of them is chemical here? Okay. So did you understood what are lenticels? Razan. Okay, now. So just like stomata is present on the surface of leaves, so thereby lenticels are present on the stems, and that helps to do gaseous exchange. Okay, now. So stomata are found on the leaves while lenticels are found on the stems, and both of them are important for gaseous exchange. So its role is for gas exchange. So in the process of respiration, plants require oxygen. So oxygen will go to the stems via this, and carbon dioxide that will be produced, that will also go back into the air via this. Okay. Talking about how the roots will be taking in air. So roots will be taking in air from the air molecules that are trapped between the soil particles here. So soil particles here have spaces between them, like the one that you can see here. This is an empty space between the soil particles. So air is trapped here. Air molecules are trapped between the tiny particles of soil. And these are the root hairs, and the root hairs will take in those air molecules. Okay, now. So that's how the root will be breathing. That's how the root will take in oxygen from the trapped oxygen molecules between the soil particles. Got this now? That is one thing. Also, as we know that while photosynthesis, it occurs only during the day because sunlight is available during the day only. But the process of respiration, it's a 24-hour phenomena. It's a 24-hour phenomena because we know that plants require energy every time. Okay, now. So thereby respiration, it's a 24-hour phenomena. It will occur every time. That is one thing. Okay. Okay, the first one you have answered, beating of aluminum metal to make aluminum foil, that is physical change good. Digestion of wood, it's a chemical change. C1, cutting of a log of wood into pieces, that is a physical change. Burning of cracker, chemical change. Very good. Yeah, all your answers are correct, Sulaiman. So we have learned a few basic things about respiration in plants. Not talking about breathing in different animals. So many animals just have cavities in their body. Many animals will be having cavities in their body, for example, in their bodies, just like human beings. Okay, now. So many animals have just cavities in their body. For example, if you were to talk about some of the organism like for example, this earthworm here. Sorry, not earthworm. I mean to say this cockroach here. So insects like cockroaches have small openings in their body called as spiracles, which are present on the sides of the body. Why which it will be taking in oxygen, why which it will be taking in air. When we look at organisms like this, for example, this earthworm here. So earthworms have a very soft and moist skin, and gases can easily pass through it can easily pass in and out through the moist skin of the earthworm. That is how it will be breathing in air. Furthermore, when we look at the case of the fishes, so fishes are the animals that they live underwater, and they have a special respiratory organs called as gills. And gills, you can see these are comb-like structures here. They look like comb. Okay, so they're comb-like structure that are present on both the side of their mouth, on the both the side of their face, basically. Okay, now so we'll be learning about these organisms in detail, that how they will be breathing in, how they will breathe in air, and how they will exhale the air. Okay. Particularly if you were to look at some of the unicellular organisms that are just made up of one cell. Unicellular organisms are the organisms that are just made up of only one cell. You guys understand now what is a cell, right? Cell is the smallest structural unit right now. Furthermore, in the case of this unicellular organism, we have an example of this amoeba, for example. Amoeba is a microscopic organism, and it will be able to do. I'm sharing one more question to you. Just 1 minute.
Sir,
Yeah.
Amoeba is the one that has cytoplasm.
Amoeba is the one that has.
Cytoplasm.
Every cell has cytoplasm in it, not only amoeba. Okay, now every cell, in fact, our cell, it also has cytoplasm. Whether it be the cell of we humans, of bacteria, virus, or fungi, any organism that we see, everyone has cytoplasm. Okay, now, Sulaiman, you received the question now. Okay, now, so two statements are there. You have to explain why does it occur. Okay. So in the case of unicellular animals, like the case of this amoeba, which is just made up of one cell, so it will simply take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide gas simply via a method called as diffusion. What happens? Arzan, just read this paragraph. Read this here.
Amoeba lives in water. Water has oxygen dissolved in it. This oxygen diffuses into the body of amoeba through its cell membranes. The oxygen is used for the respiration inside the cell, and energy and carbon dioxide are released. Other animals like Paramecium and Planaria also respire through their cell membranes.
Okay, first of all, this thing which I have highlighted here, that is called a cell membrane. Okay, now it is the outermost layer of the body called a cell membrane. So amoeba will be usually found living in water. It can be found living in a dirty water, in the pond water. Basically, in stagnant water, it can grow in the stagnant water. So how will it take oxygen? It doesn't have nose like us, obviously. So it will simply take oxygen via its body surface, via the cell membrane. From any part of the body, oxygen can enter into it. As we know, oxygen is dissolved in the water now, right? Now? So oxygen, that dissolved oxygen will go via their body. From any portion, it can go inside the body. And once it takes oxygen, oxygen will be utilized to break down the food. Whenever food is broken down with help of oxygen, so one thing is obvious, that carbon dioxide gas will be produced now. So the oxygen will be used for carrying out respiration inside the cell, and energy and carbon dioxide will be released. So energy will be used by the amoeba to carry out different function, while carbon dioxide gas will be released back into the water. Okay, now, so this is a unicellular organism. This was the example of a unicellular. What do we mean by unicellular organism, Rizan?
The organisms that only have one cell.
One cell. So the mechanism of respiration in this is very simple. The mechanism of breathing, I mean to say, it is very simple now. It doesn't have complex organs like lungs, nose, windpipe. Simply from its body, it takes oxygen, and from the same body, it releases back carbon dioxide. That is one thing. Then later on, let us learn about the animals. What about the animals that would be living inside the soil, like earthworms? Okay, now. By the way, this is also one such example of another unicellular organism that also does breathing in the same manner. Okay, now. So just like amoeba, it will be doing the same method. It will also be doing the same method. Okay, now that is one thing. We'll be looking at Hydra, but first of all, take the case of this earthworm. So what we know that earthworms have a soft, slimming and moist skin. It can slim through. It can slim through the surface very easily. Okay, now so it has a very soft and moist skin, and the gases can easily pass in and out through its skin. Similarly, when we look at the case of the frogs, now frogs also have a slippery and moist skin. Have you ever hold a frog in your hand?
No.
Oh. If you ever accidentally, or let's say if you were to hold the frog in hand, we observe that its body is very moist and slippery. Okay, na? And it allows the frogs to do gaseous exchange. They can, like when the frogs are on land, so they can breathe in via their skin, while they contain lungs also. So when they are under the water, they will be breathing in with the help of their lungs. Anyways, let me just quickly check your answer. What have you answered, Suleiman? Turns milky because of formation of white precipitate in form of calcium carbonate. Very good, very good. Next question, answer that one also. Bubbles are produced when acetic acid. Acetic acid is present in vinegar. Okay, so we are basically reacting vinegar with the solution of sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is the chemical formula of baking powder or baking soda, I mean to say. Okay, now so you're reacting vinegar and baking soda. So bubbles are produced, and what is that bubble? You have to tell me. Got this? What? Got this, no, Suleiman?
What, sir?
Question number B, you haven't answered that one. There are two questions in that,
Oh,
no?
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, and C.
Okay, no issue. So what we have learned so far, that earthworms would be able to exchange the gas through their skin. They will be able to take in oxygen via their skin and release the carbon dioxide via the same skin. The skin is moist, it is thin, and has a good supply of blood. So oxygen is absorbed through its moist skin, and it is transported to the rest of the body for use in respiration. So when they get oxygen now, the thing is that their skin has a very rich supply of blood. Okay, now this is the blood flowing in their skin. So the oxygen will directly go into the blood. The oxygen directly goes into the blood, and wherever the oxygen will be required, with the help of blood, the oxygen will be transported to that place in
Sir,
the body. Yeah.
can I tell one point? Like how
Mhm.
earthworms move?
How earthworms move?
Yeah, can I tell a point?
Yeah,
on that?
sure.
Earthworms move with the help of vessels in their body.
Mm.
Under
Very good. They have bristles on their body. We should be learning about it in a minute. Okay, like they are called as setae, Setae. Okay. Okay, that is one thing. So oxygen is absorbed through their body, and oxygen directly goes into the blood because their skin has a very rich supply of blood. So oxygen is directly going to the blood, and blood will carry it to wherever it is required. And mainly, oxygen will be required for doing respiration. Carbon dioxide will be produced as a waste, and it will be released from the skin. Okay, now furthermore, we have another examples like leeches. So they also do the respiration in the same manner. They will also take in oxygen via their skin and release carbon dioxide. Now, if you were to look at this structure now, this is called as setae, Setae. Okay, now the thing which you were explaining moments ago. Setae are basically bristles. They are located on each segment of the earthworm's body. They prevent the earthworm from slipping backwards. Okay, now so it will prevent the earthworm from slipping backward. Okay, now so that is the function of the setae in earthworm. Getting it or not?
yes.
Okay, now Suleiman, you have answered it or not? Okay, you haven't answered it
Sir,
yet.
one second.
Okay,
Sir,
okay.
one second.
Okay, no issues. Now, when we look at the case of the frogs, so frogs are basically said to be amphibians, which can live under the water and on the land also. They also have a very soft and moist skin, and with the help of the soft and moist skin, they can carry like when they are on land. So via their skin, they will be taking in oxygen, and via the skin, they will be releasing out carbon dioxide gas. Okay, now O2 is oxygen, CO2 is carbon dioxide. While when they are underwater, so they will be primarily using lungs to carry out respiration, to do breathing basically. That is the case of this. So do frogs breathe with lungs or gills? What will be the
Lungs.
answer to this? No, it will be
Lungs.
both. It depends on where they are. If they are under the water, they will be using the. I mean to say, sorry. This uh, I reversed it actually. Sorry. When they are on land, so they will be using the lungs. Okay, now when they will be under the water,
Yes,
under
lungs.
the water, then they will be carrying out. Then they will be doing breathing with the help of their skin, because oxygen is dissolved in the water now. So via their soft and slimy and moist skin, they will be taking in oxygen and would release carbon dioxide. But when they are on land, so they will be taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide with the help of their lungs. The bubbles are produced when acetic acid is added to a solution of sodium hydrogen carbonate, because carbon dioxide is evolved due to chemical reaction between acetic acid and sodium hydrogen carbonate. Very good, Suleiman. Very good. Okay, now. And when this carbon dioxide gas is made to pass through the lime water, then it turns milky, right? And it turns milky because of formation of calcium carbonate. Good. So frogs breathe with the help of both of this, but it depends on where they are. Under the water, they will be taking the help of the skin. Okay, na? While they are on the land, they will be using the lungs. But here, gills are not present. So the right answer to this will be the lungs, as you were saying. Okay, now. Okay, what is this organism?
So mosquito.
No, that's not mosquito.
A grasshopper.
This is a
Grasshopper.
grasshopper. Okay, now let us understand about the respiratory system in the grasshoppers. First of all, this grasshopper, it has openings in their body called as spiracles. On the side of the body, there are openings called as spiracles. Okay, now these are the openings on their body called as spiracles. So grasshopper respiratory system or the breathing system, it is made up of these tube-like structures that runs through their body called as trachea. They're called as trachea. So it's a tube-like structure that is present in their body. Okay, now talking about spiracles, what I say that spiracles are the small holes that opens on both the sides of the body, right? Furthermore, we get to see that these spiracles are connected to tube-like structure in their body called as trachea. Also, we see that grasshoppers are able to survive in water for some time. If they were to be dipped in water, they will stay alive for some time. Okay, na? Why does it happen? The thing here is that they have such an adaptation in their body. Like if you can see here, there are air sacs in their body. These are kind of air bags which are present in the body. Let me highlight this one, in which the air will be stored for some time. Getting it now? So they are taking in oxygen or basically air via these holes in their body called as spiracles. And this air travels in their body via tube-like system like this here called as trachea. And air will be stored in their body in these air sacs. Getting it now? So that is the respiratory system in grasshoppers. Okay, na? So grasshoppers takes in oxygen or basically oxygen-rich air via the spiracles. It is traveling in their body via a tube-like system called as trachea and gets stored for some time in air sacs also. Okay, no? In fact, the entry of oxygen-rich air in grasshopper or whether it in big cockroaches or housefly, all of them takes place through the spiracles. So this grasshopper, I mean to say this cockroach also has a spiracle. When we look at the housefly, they also have spiracles in their body. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now. Furthermore, this trachea, what is it? It is a air tube. Okay, now this is a air tube. Or basically more appropriate to say that it's a network of air tubes. It is a network of air tubes in their body. Okay, now. Okay, one or two topics left in the chapter. We'll be finishing that in the next class. Okay, now. That's it for today. We'll be continuing from next class. All right. Razan, any update regarding your exam date and your syllabus?